let's play a windy but still gorgeous October afternoon here in Evanston. Northwestern defers the toss. Indiana receives. Hoosiers have actually taken the ball first in all but one game so far this season. With Solomon Van Horst back deep to receive the kick through the end zone, and the red-hot Indiana Hoosiers offense takes the field for the first time, led by Kurtis Rourke. Tyson Lawton is the tailback, number 17. First play from scrimmage of the day. Rourke looks to throw and finds Lawton over the middle. And Lawton picks up 10 yards. That's good for an Indiana first down. Another first down, and there's the man, Surratt. Lucky number 13. He takes the ball all the way into Northwestern territory to the 35. A big gain.
They'll move Surratt around to a variety of positions, so he'll be matched up in the slot against Brayton Turner, the nickel slot defender. And when you get that one-on-one, Surratt, amongst a variety of Hoosiers wide receivers, has the ability to beat man coverage, and the timing that Rourke delivers the football with shows up consistently. Surratt's
caught a pass in all 31 games of his college career now. Another 1st and 10, and Justice Ellison with the first carry of the day for Indiana. That picks up close to 5. Second down, middle distance. Rourke throws. It was nearly intercepted by Theron Johnson, the defensive back. 3rd down and 5. First drive for Indiana in Northwestern territory. Keyshawn Williams, the motion man. Ellison on the ground. Cut down shy of the 25-yard line by Brayton Turner. And it's 4th down.
From a decision-making perspective, this is a yard line where you'd likely consider going for 4th down anyway, but then especially, we've been talking about the wind conditions already here at Martin Stadium. This is a green means go scenario. I would imagine Cignetti has already been communicating that to Mike Shanahan, his OC.
4th down and 2. Big play early in this game from the pistol. Rourke to Miles Cross. What a tackle by Mac Uline. Short of the first down. Northwestern ball. As the Wildcats have the ball for the first time today, and Jack Lausch hands it off to Joseph Hyman II with Northwestern's first play from scrimmage. Minimal gain at 2nd down. This is Lausch's 3rd start. 3rd consecutive start. Struggled numbers-wise against Washington, but the coaching staff said that when you look back at the tape, you know, there were some other errors that happened in the passing game. They were still encouraged by some things that they saw.
It's important to recognize that when a young quarterback is getting his initial starts of his career. There's a lot of playmakers around Jack Lausch that need to step forward.
2nd and 10, and Lausch, a mobile quarterback, runs across the 30-yard line. Taken down by Sean Asbury and Jalen Walker. Now Porter in the backfield on 3rd and short. And he gets the carry. Welcome back, Cam Porter. A first down run up the middle. A.J. Henning, the motion man, and Lausch, his first pass attempt of the day, is thrown to the Northwestern sideline. Hyman is the tailback at 2nd and long. Lausch checks it down. There's Hyman, who's planted. Here's 3rd and short. Lausch on an angle route to Bryce Kurtz. It's incomplete, and some pretty good coverage by Pons, who was stuck to Kurtz there. 4th down. Luke Akers with the punt. Wobbling kick. It's caught by Miles Price at his own 5-yard line. Stretching out wide. Pretty impressive return. He only got about 5 yards, but could have been worse. 1st and 10 from deep in Indiana territory. And the carry by Ellison, just under 5 yards. That was Lawton, beg your pardon. 2nd down. On 2nd and 7. Lawton again. A few more across the 15-yard line. A 3rd and 4 here. He looks to throw. Pocket collapses, and Rourke is dragged down. First punt of the day for James Evans. And it bounces just across the 50-yard line and is covered up by Mark Langston, the long snapper. Jack Louch in trouble. He is sacked. Cam Porter is the tailback. 2nd and 17. Louch airs it out looking for Kurtz. It's incomplete. 3rd and long here. A flag comes in, and Cam Porter escapes James Carpenter, but still is brought down shy of the 40-yard line.
Legal shift, offense, 2 players moving, never setting. Penalties decline, 4th down.
Some pre-snap adjusting before the Luke Akers punt. In the direction of Miles Price, who returned the last one and makes a very difficult catch at the 10-yard line. Lucky he didn't muff that one.
And for defense of Northwestern, they have got to make Indiana one-dimensional.
On the ground, Justice Ellison nearly slipped to the 2nd level. Rourke over the middle. And that strike is caught by Miles Price. Hoosiers haven't won in Evanston since 1993. Into the flat, that's Price one more time, and the play is blown up by Evan Smith. Into the flat, Lawton, the tailback. Good block on the edge by Keyshawn Williams. And Indiana makes up all that lost ground and then some. Zach Horton, the tight end, is the motion man. Over the middle again, it's Surratt. Theron Johnson tries to twist him down. And Surratt with some hard-earned yardage after the catch. Thank you, Danny. And Lawton definitely setting the tone on this drive. Here he is again on 2nd and short. Didn't get much, didn't need much. He moves the chains, 1st down. Rourke in trouble. He breaks through and throws to a wide-open Keyshawn Williams, who stepped out of bounds, hence the knee brace on his right leg. Ellison with great patience picks up a big gain all the way into the red zone. Miles Price. Price hammered just shy of the 5-yard line. A delayed handoff to Ellison. Met just shy of the goal line, but he keeps his feet moving. Touchdown, Indiana.
Folks who haven't been watching Indiana closely this season, they may presume it's a finesse offense. But the offensive line is willing to move defenders against their will, and the impact at the running back position, they keep their legs churning.
That is the 5th straight game Justice Ellison has scored a rushing touchdown. He's on a heater, as are the Hoosiers. Nicholas Radicic with the point after try. The return by Joseph Hyman of Northwestern. He's got some speed. Wanted a face mask call, and he's going to get it. A flag comes in. Looked like it was Isaiah Jones.
Kicking team, number 46, face mask. 15-yard penalty will be added on at the end of the run. 1st down.
On Indiana on the kick return. Louch dragged down. Mikhail Kamara building off a very impressive game against Maryland. Northwestern football, 2nd and long. Louch deals in the direction of Bryce Kurtz. It's caught across the 45-yard line, back near the original line of scrimmage. Jameer Johnson in coverage, and it's 3rd down.
It's almost eerie, some of the mannerisms of Curt Cignetti, and how they are very similar to Nick Saban, his old boss from his time at Alabama. He was on Saban's first staff there in Tuscaloosa. There is this assumption people make that he's almost an identical sort of Saban-esque clone. His demeanor is more dissimilar from Saban than folks might realize.
Cignetti was the wide receivers coach and recruiting coordinator for Nick Saban from 07 to 10. Lausch on third down escapes the pocket. He's a good athlete, and he carries the ball for a Northwestern first down into IU territory. After the 14-yard run, it's 1st and 10. Right up the middle to Caleb Komalafe. He was hit around the ankles first by Jalen Walker. Aiden Fisher also popped the young running back for Northwestern. The coaching staff very high on Komalafe's future with the program. 1-yard gain.
Very high on this Hoosiers defensive front. It's a bit of a banged-up offensive line for Northwestern. They have got their hands full today. There's a variety of positions that Indiana doesn't necessarily rotate a lot of bodies through. They keep fresh bodies coming at you on the defensive line.
Northwestern trying to tie this game. Indiana brings pressure. Lausch throws it complete to Bryce Kurtz, who steps out of bounds. Let's check in once again with Danny Rogers.
Pre-game, the wind really was going to seem like it was going to be a factor here today. Gusts expected to be up to 35 miles per hour. We're not seeing a ton of wind here so far. I've been around midfield. Wind gusts still not picking up over there, so it looks like there aren't going to be too many external factors affecting this ball game today.
It's noteworthy because, you know, Indiana, different sort of stumbling blocks that could present themselves to the Hoosiers and how they operate on offense. Their versatility will continue to be there if the wind conditions allow for it.
A blatant false start there on Northwestern's left guard Cooper Lovelace.
Ball start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
That's a 3rd and 8 now versus a 3rd and 3.
For this offense, with a young quarterback, that's a huge difference. It wouldn't matter as much to some folks. And Cooper Lovelace getting the start at this point in the season. After Nick Herzog, the opening game starter, ended up getting banged up. Herzog available for today's game, but hasn't been able to get himself back physically to a point where he can regain the starting role.
Komalafe brought into the backfield to the left of Lausch. 3rd down. Indiana brings 4. Lausch in trouble. He escapes. Walker tries to trip him up, and Lausch too big and strong. Donnie Gray, the motion man, hard count. D'Angelo Pons appeared to cross the line of scrimmage for Indiana.
There's a few different things going on there.
Offside. Defense, number 5. 5-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
Pass caught, A.J. Henning, and a sure tackle by Jameer Johnson, but a good gain on 1st down for the Cats.
Northwestern being forced to just sort of take a methodical approach to things. That's how their offense has been operating this season. But this is a much better version of Jack Lausch we've seen in the game so far today. But Indiana's defense is showing that they're willing and able to tackle. They talked to us about wanting to get A.J. Henning out in space. That was a time there where he was one-on-one, but you saw the Hoosiers able to come and secure that tackle.
On 2nd and 6, Joseph Hyman stretches it out and is pushed out by Pons, but that play really pushed out wide by Sean Asbury. Another 3rd and 8 for Northwestern on this drive. Lausch over the middle, finds the tight end, Thomas Gordon. Gordon down inside the 10-yard line. Kamara with the tackle. It's a 1st down for Northwestern.
Joseph Hyman put some good film out there in the pass pro. Just one play later, watch him from the running back position. He's going to step up into the A-gap, chin check, the oncoming blitzer just giving Jack Lausch enough time to deliver the football to the outside and get to Thomas Gordon, moving the sticks, showing the versatility that will now force the defense to honor Northwestern's pass protection in a different way.
1st and goal for Northwestern. Cam Porter. Great block by Henning. Porter to the pylon. Touchdown, Northwestern. Point after try, good. First snap of the day, and he gets the carry. He slips past Xander Mueller. Black with daylight, and he gives Mac Uline a ride. Rourke over the middle. The pass is caught by Omar Cooper. Rourke, Elijah Surratt. Pass is caught, and Surratt is awfully tough to bring down. Ellison inside the 10. 2nd and 3, Ellison cut down. Third and short, Ellison wrapped up first by Xander Mueller. Here we go, 4th and inches. Northwestern's defense stopped IU on 4th down earlier today. Rourke, end zone, looking for Miles Cross. Touchdown, Indiana. What a catch.
I mean, Kurtis Rourke has been remarkably accurate throughout this season, throughout his career. This was not exactly one of those moments, but man, look at Miles Cross go up top and not only able to snag the football in the air, then looks down, gets the toe tapped to keep it in the end zone. I mean, he's only 5'11", but look at him go up top and make this grab.
Radicic has not missed a PAT in his career, and he keeps the streak alive. It might just be a temporary home for Northwestern football, but it is a splendid backdrop, the best in college football. Joseph Hyman on the carry. He breaks into the secondary, picks up a block from Kurtz, and steps out of bounds. 35 yards for Joseph Hyman on the ground. Northwestern has had some procedural issues today.
Legal snap, offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
1st and 15, and an empty backfield now for Jack Lausch, the redshirt sophomore. Over the middle, he threads the needle, and a beautiful grab by Bryce Kurtz.
He got away with one here, because I like the eye discipline, but as he looked over the middle of the field, there was just that additional hesitation, and he wanted to see Bryce Kurtz open first. He put some extra mustard on the hot dog with that extra velocity to fit it in there, but that's one that Aiden Fisher, I think, will want back on film, because he saw where Lausch was looking to go with the football and just narrowly didn't get there.
2nd and short. Lausch with a nice juke move there on Elijah Hardy. And Lausch carries the ball for a Northwestern first down.
The juke is an underutilized term in broadcast television at this point, so I love hearing you use it, because that's precisely what Jack Lausch did. Little two-step, little juke move out there in space, allowing him to move the chains, whether it's been of the call variety from Zach Lujan or just the decisiveness of Jack Lausch, taking off and running the football, making the decision, putting his foot in the dirt and going.
It's been a very encouraging quarter for Northwestern's offense. Cam Porter on the ground, and he's stacked up. James Carpenter was at the point of attack on the Indiana defensive line. Here's 3rd and 4 for Jack Lausch and company. Good protection up front. Lausch heaves it in the direction of his tight end, Marshall Lang. Pressure eventually applied by Aiden Fisher, the linebacker for Indiana. It's 4th down now.
We're seeing Jack Lausch valuing the football. It's one of those terms that David Braun likes to use just to make sure that you're not going to put the football in harm's way too frequently. Look for those opportunities to make plays while not being reckless with your decision making.
So what do you think of this decision to bring the field goal unit on?
I like it. I mean, if you say Laos takes off and runs and gets it to a 4th and truly short, I think you try to convert. But from here, take the opportunity to score points.
Jack Olson. Akers' kick lands 4 yards in the end zone. It's a touchback. Got a sailboat sighting now as the conditions on the water calm down a little bit. All right, back to the field now. High throw. On 3rd down, draw play. Kalon Black, fancy footwork, and he picks up an Indiana 1st down. That will temporarily stop the clock to move the chains inside of 2 minutes.
The start and stop ability on display from a wide variety of the Ninja Turtles.
Left Xander Mueller grasping at air. There's a quick pass to the boundary, and it's hauled in by Miles Cross, the touchdown target for Kurtis Rourke earlier today. Evan Smith in coverage. 2nd and 5. And a big block by Black in pass protection. Rourke. And the pass is hauled in by E.J. Williams. Hoosiers call a timeout, by the way. Rourke, high pass again, and Rourke. Northwestern's defense trying to hold firm here in the closing seconds of the half. 2nd down, Rourke, a wounded duck that was tipped at the line of scrimmage. On for a 37-yard attempt. Into the north end zone. James Evans is the holder. Kicks on the way. And he kicks it on the ground. It's picked up and actually through the hands of Joseph Hyman. And he takes a knee from inside the 10-yard line, and there was no time left on the clock anyway, so that gets us to halftime. Nearly out of the end zone for a touchback. Cam Porter, as Danny and Anthony mentioned, in at tailback. Jack Lausch, pass complete to Bryce Kurtz, who has been Lausch's favorite target in the passing game today. That's good for a Northwestern 1st down.
Bryce Kurtz isn't necessarily thought of as the speedy receiver when you've got a lineup that has A.J. Henning in it. And Calvin Johnson can run when he's getting an opportunity at touches. We see Joseph Hyman in the open field. But Bryce Kurtz, just from a straight line speed perspective, he's been able to get behind defenses all throughout his career.
That's Kurtz's 5th catch of the ball game. 11-yard gain from the 36 on their 1st and 10.
We haven't seen the vertical pass much yet from Northwestern.
On the ground with Porter. 3 carries and a touchdown in the 1st half. 2nd down, Lausch on the outbreaking route. It was thrown at the feet of Bryce Kurtz, incomplete. 3rd down. Lausch over the middle, and the pass is caught by the tight end Marshall Lang. Elijah Hardy with the tackle, but that's a big 3rd down conversion. A gain of 6.
They did try. They decided not to add Fisher to the rush. So Lausch able to stand tall in the pocket, read the field, saw it quickly.
A little bit of tempo here for Northwestern. Hyman on the ground, wrapped up by Marcus Burris Jr., but Northwestern mounting a drive here to start the 3rd quarter. Back to Hyman, and he is swarmed. Lausch pursued by Kamara, and he gets home. There's a flag on the play in the offensive backfield.
Lead. Offense, number 70. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Luke Akers punt, a spiraling kick, and a fair catch made by Miles Price. But Indiana could be the first team to 3-0 in the Big Ten with a win today. And that's Tyson Lawton who gets the drive started across the 15-yard line. Short gain. Second down carry, Lawton. First down and more. Good use of switching the ball. He's pushed out by Justin Fussell. And Ellison is the tailback now out of the pistol. Into the flat, Miles cross. First down, Ellison. Took a shot in the hole by Braden Turner. Second down over the middle. Surratt has another. Tackled by Theron Johnson. Horton, the tight end, in motion. Lawton puts his head down and does not reach the 20-yard line. Mac Uline, who led Northwestern in tackles in the first half with 6, was at the point of attack.
It's a more methodical approach throughout the game so far. You know, is it the weather conditions that are a part of that? Is it the opponent, the respect that Kurt Cignetti kept talking about that he has for this Northwestern defense, wanting to have the game called in a way, paced in a way that isn't putting the football in harm's way.
Some razzle-dazzle. Omar Cooper with cavalry. Good block on the edge by Horton, the tight end. Third down and short. Ellison, the ball carrier, moves the chains. There have been no turnovers in the game today, but Indiana moving the ball nonetheless. Rourke to the end zone. Touchdown, Keyshawn Williams.
You want to talk about a spot throw, Chris? I'm not even completely confident that Kurtis Rourke could see the intended target out there. But that's where you have time that you've spent on the practice field. And some of these things just become muscle memory. Under duress in the pocket, you can tell he's just trying to see over the outstretched hand of the defender, knows exactly where Keyshawn Williams is going to end up. Puts the ball right on the money.
Radicic for the point after try. There was so much space to which he was throwing the ball. It almost looked like he was throwing it away. Ready to take over on offense following the kickoff by Quinn Warren. Well, he's never had a losing season in 13 years as a head coach, which is amazing. On first down, that's A.J. Henning on the catch. Caleb Komolafe is the tailback. It's second down. And that pass is caught by Henning. First and 10, Lausch in trouble. Finds Joseph Hyman, who makes a difficult catch out of the backfield. Lowers his helmet into Josh Sanguinetti and is brought down at the 49-yard line of Indiana, 1 yard shy of the first down.
Very honest sideline, by the way, from Northwestern. That's the scenario I was wondering. Are we going to see a bunch of guys pointing even though he was obviously short of the first down? No one pointed. Very, very sort of honest finish to the play from the Wildcat sideline.
Well, they did have a sideline warning earlier in the game.
That's true, yeah. Might have snapped it back to attention. Got him in line.
Second and 1. Indiana showing pressure. They only bring 3. Lausch right up the middle. Tackled by Isaiah Jones, but he picks up a first down. Cignetti has lost just that game in the last 693 days. A.J. Henning nearly hauled that one in. D'Angelo Pons, second and 10 from the Indiana 46. Komolafe cuts up field inside the 40-yard line and brings up third and short.
It's a nice read from Caleb Komolafe because he could tell pre-snap Aiden Fisher was starting to mug up into the A-gap. Use that term, mug. It's where the linebackers walk pre-snap into the A-gap toward the line of scrimmage. So that actually made for an easier read for Komolafe as he received the handoff. He bounced it outside quickly.
That was not a tentative run either, and Northwestern coaching staff said he has been running a little bit tentative after breaking his ankle in spring ball. A very quick recovery for Komolafe, getting used to contact again. On third and short. Lausch, pass call. Hey, room to run. Touchdown, Northwestern. 38 yards to Pater. Henning is Northwestern's leading wide receiver, and still very much a ball game here late in the third quarter. Indiana begins this drive on the ground with Justice Ellison out across the 30-yard line, a gain of 6. Uline and Turner, Devin Turner that is, on the tackle.
And folks who see Kurtis Rourke, after he hands the football off, just continue that throwing motion, carrying out the play fake. It's impactful. It just forces the second and third level of the opposing defense to hesitate for an extra moment. So that gains additional yards for the ball carrier.
Rourke fires complete. Keyshawn Williams, who has a touchdown catch today, tackled by Devin Turner. The chains move, first down IU.
We haven't seen exceptional run after catch from Indiana today, but the precision of Rourke getting the football on these in-cutting routes, out-breaking routes, as he's hitting some of his pass catchers in stride, they're still able to move the chains because of his decisiveness.
Ellison in the backfield. He's got it. Met at the line of scrimmage, no gain, second down. Second and 10 on the crossing route. Williams tiptoes through defenders. How is he still going? Williams thrown down by Braden Turner. A massive gain. First and goal, Indiana.
We've been talking footwork throughout this game. It doesn't get much fancier than what we see here, because initially off the grab, Keyshawn Williams knows he is going to be in traffic, starts to high step. Next thing you know, this product out of the Philadelphia is East Coast swinging his way toward the end zone. Got some collision happening, continues that spin cycle into the open field.
52 yards to set up first and goal. Delayed handoff, Tyson Lawton, no gain. The lights are on here, by the way, at Martin Stadium. It's second and goal. Rourke through the hands of Miles Cross, incomplete. Three wide to the left. Cooper at the bottom of your screen. Rourke looks Cooper's way. One-on-one coverage, and the pass is dropped. Evan Smith, the defensive back. 28 yards for Radicic. It's good. It bounced off the light pole. Short kickoff, played on a hop by Hyman. Hyman is ushered out of bounds by number 13, Cedarius Doss. On first and 10, Lausch complete. Kurtz on the comeback route. Good gain on first down across the 45. Lausch flushed. Around the corner on Aiden Fisher. He picks up a Northwestern first down to midfield. Gordon now tight to the formation. Lausch looking for Hyman in the flat. He chucks it long. Kurtz! Caught! Down inside the 5-yard line. 47 yards. Longest play of the day for Northwestern. It's first and goal. Porter's got it. Hit in the hole. No room to run. Second and goal. Porter again, and Indiana all over it. Red zone offense was a real problem for Northwestern 2 weeks ago. against Washington. Can they punch it in here on 3rd and goal? To the end zone. Incomplete. And a flag comes in. Thomas Gordon encouraging the crowd in the end zone, largely of Indiana fans.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball being placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic. First down.
They used motion to set up this opportunity, and he certainly got the physical edge at 6'5", 255 against 5'9", 170. They motion to 3-by-1. They bring A.J. Henning all the way across the formation, so now you have a single receiver, your flexed out tight end who's going to be matched up one-on-one with a corner.
Ball at the 2. Lausch, Henning, makes 2 men miss and scores his 2nd touchdown of the day. This is Jack Olson. 3-point game. Northwestern trails, but drew close on the 2nd touchdown catch of the day by A.J. Henning. Jack Lausch has been really good at quarterback for Northwestern. Grew up on the south side of Chicago. Went to Brother Rice High School. Local ties. Playing in front of friends and family here today as Indiana boots up a drive on the ground with Tyson Lawton. Third down and 8.
That's Osaka.
Rourke. Pass is caught. A strike from Rourke. Indiana with over 300 yards passing today. Adding to that total, Omar Cooper breaks the tackle by Fussell and is tackled by Brendan Flakes. He said it usually gets him in the door in recruiting. Surratt again. No, incomplete. It was not caught inbounds.
Really? Did the ball bounce directly back up to him? I mean, the ball hits him in both hands. He appears to be running with it. Oh, okay, it did. It bounced right back up to him. But it's still not a drop then, in that case.
Is that so?
Right, yeah, this guy got punched out by the defender. I don't believe statistically that would count as a drop. So Elijah Surratt, by my statistics, still drop free.
All right. 2nd and 10. Kaylon Black with a burst. Black. All kinds of pre-snap motion here. Rourke going through his progressions, and it's Surratt. Theron Johnson on the tackle. First down into the red zone for the Hoosiers. To Lawton here on first down. Following the block of Surratt. Touchdown, Indiana. Tyson Lawton finishes what he started. That was a big-time drive by Indiana. You felt like Northwestern had some momentum, and the Hoosiers take it right back.
Lawton right off the block. Look at the pad level right in the middle from Mike Kading. Driving defenders out of the hole. There's not going to be a lot of space when you get inside the 3-yard line.
Already tied for 4th most wins in a first season with IU football. Trying to move that number to 6. That was a sideways spinning kick into the end zone. Touchback, Northwestern ball. First and 10. Henning caught. Immediately tackled by Jameer Johnson at the 30-yard line. 5-yard gain. Lausch throws that one low for Joseph Hyman.
One half that one out to the bag, but
Lausch extending the play. Pass incomplete. It was through the hands first of Frank Covey, the fourth, and was nearly caught by Thomas Gordon, the tight end. Covey in motion. Caught by Covey. That one skips into the carpeting. Covey again the intended target at second down.
probably a good thing he skipped that one because we saw D'Angelo Pons. He was making a beeline between himself and the intended receiver. That had pick six written all over it.
We have not had a turnover today. Haven't been that many penalties either. It's just been a clean game.
Really had.
Only 4 punts as well.
Kyle Kamara, top of your screen.
Intended for A.J. Henning. Third down. 5:26 to go. Lausch pursued by Isaiah Jones. The pass lands incomplete. Calvin Johnson, the second, looking around for a penalty flag. It's not there. And fourth down coming up for Northwestern.
Just converted one fourth down a few snaps ago. No reason to think they won't attempt another one here. Martin Stadium came to life at the end. It did look like C.J. Johnson was trying to react to the football. Some colliding going on with Terry Jones on the backside.
There was some encouragement from the Northwestern sideline there, trying to help the officials.
Yeah.
Fourth in the ball game. Lausch incomplete. Justice Ellison. Indiana's running backs, we've been talking about them as a collective group. They're so good with the first move behind the line of scrimmage to make the first defender miss. It's impressive.
And as they do that, they can all transition back into top gear in a rapid manner. There's some start and stop ability when they receive the football. Make one move there in the hole and then get vertical right off the bat. They do have some jump cuts, some lateral ability, but they don't spend a lot of time dancing.
Indiana trying to milk the clock. Touchdown, and the Hoosiers will get to 40 points for the 5th straight game. Botched snap, and Rourke tackled by Theron Johnson and Jalen Pate. On third down, Rourke incomplete, looking for Omar Cooper. Great coverage by Theron Johnson. Number 10, there he is.
They put a big load on Theron Johnson throughout the game today, especially to the boundary side, allowing coverage to roll to other areas of the field, leaving him one-on-one. Been able to answer the bell pretty frequently.
4th and 5. Indiana looking for a dagger. Rourke throws for Surratt. It's caught. Tackled out of bounds by Evan Smith. First and goal, Indiana.
It's been an underappreciated part of the game this season from Kurtis Rourke. His ability to extend the play, keeping his eyes down the field. He'll initially climb the pocket vertically based off the upfield rush of Anto Saka, and as he does that, he's looking the entire way. He knows where Elijah Surratt is going to be. This scramble drill is something they've done 1,000 times now in multiple institutions.
27 big ones from Rourke to Surratt. And Indiana in the red zone where they are 6 for 6 today with 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Rourke to the tight end, Zach Horton. Touchdown, Indiana. Stayed on his feet just long enough.
Well, Rourke forced him to pirouette to be able to make this grab. We have seen Zach Horton do similar things throughout the season so far. He went back shoulder to get this football, and then the fancy footwork, very similar to some of his teammates, aside from the additional mass and the impact when he hit the ground.
Radicic from the hold of James Evans. 41-24. Big Ants Brute Squad, that's awesome. Here's Joseph Hyman on the return. He's still on his feet. A flag comes in behind the play. And Hyman eventually tackled by Isaiah Jones.
Holding, return team number 46. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Lausch to Kurtz. Northwestern short on time. Lausch to Kurtz again. That's caught across the 40-yard line. Lausch to Kurtz. They triple it up with Bryce Kurtz into Indiana territory to the 49.
Speaking of things that do my heart good, I did get a text from Dave Wanstead during the game here. But Wani would let me know Mike Shanahan actually played wide receiver for him at Pitt. Started for several years. A little background there.
Handful of games in forever. Lausch. That's incomplete. Intended for C.J. Johnson. Lausch for Kurtz, that sails into the Indiana bench. Pressure from Kamara. As he throws, loose ball. Linnell Carr tries to scoop it up. C.J. West comes up with it.
These are the moments you pride yourself on as a football team. You love to see victory formation.
Rourke to a knee at the 40-yard line.
I'd say we've got bigger goals than just becoming bowl eligible